Good morning. I am woke and ready. So I've already moisturized my face. Of course, I already washed my face. I've already moisturized my face. And now I'm getting ready to prime it. I use Shine Killer, which is a charcoal base. And it helps eliminate or reduce the amount of shine around my oil spots. And for me, my oil spots, or I have combination skin, but my oil spots is heavy around my nose. I put some above my lid, but they do have some that is specifically designed just for your lid, because some primers can be a little heavy, actually a little too heavy for the eyelid. So all primer is not recommended for your eyelid, because they do have some that's extremely lightweight, and it's perfect for the lid. Please make sure you get all the primer into every area of your skin to make sure you have, especially if you're doing a full coverage makeup look, primer needs to be everywhere. And I'm starting with my eyebrows. Everybody does things differently. I've seen people jot all over their face. I personally have to start with my eyebrows because I don't want to get a mess everywhere. So the eyebrows is the best place to start. As you can see, I'm not using my Anastasia brow filler today. I'm simply using eyeshadow. I'm also going to use, I'm using 3 different eyeshadows, but I'm also going to use the darkest black that they have from this palette. So let's get it started. I'm going in with the light brown in the very front of my brow. I'm kind of going a little bit out forward and where my brow begins. And I'm going in and I'm feeling it. That's what I just went in with. The light brown. You can already tell from one side to the next that I put a little something on there, but not much. And I'm doing an ombre brown. It's the one I like. I go from side to side just to make sure I get them to match. Now, you don't have to be really neat with this part, but I prefer you to be as neat as possible. That way you don't have so much cleaning up to do. Now, that's a little extra heavier than what I want for this side. So now I'm going to go in with a darker brown. Towards the center. And now I can top it off with my Stone Cold Black on the very end. And really, when you go in on the end, you need to come back and kind of breeze your way through a little bit. And what I mean is, if your color is already filled in from here to here, then you need to overlap the darkest color on top. You shouldn't start the darkest color from here to there. You should start the darkest color from here to there. And when you put it on when you're overlapping, you want to go slightly in, but not too much, because you want to have a gradual fade. You don't want to look like it's this color, then that color. You don't want to look like it's three different definite colors. You want to look like a nice little merge. So you want to make sure you take your time. And like I said before, if you can stay inside the line, do so. Then you take the back of your eyebrow, excuse me, brush or another one that has these wisps on it, and you go ahead and shade yourself out. I like to fade myself out in certain areas to where it looks as if I have nothing. And in other areas, I want to keep it a little heavy so I don't really touch other areas like I do some. By the time I get to the very end, I'm not touching what's on the very end, because I don't want it to start to disappear. Okay? So we got that portion on. Browser in place. Now let's conceal. You always go in with the lighter shade at the very bottom, and then a same skin tone shade at the top. You do want to use a generous amount of product on your brush. That way you can actually see the outline. If you do not use enough, you won't be able to see that you actually made a clear line on your face. To me, this is the longest portion of doing makeup is the brows. The rest of it you can pretty much breeze through, but the brows is something that you need to take your time on. And just like in art class, you need to color inside the lines. So I'm gonna bring it a tad bit closer so that you can be able to see the distinction from here to there, and that you can tell that it was outlined. Now we're gonna do the same thing on this side, and I want you to see I used a generous amount. You can see the amount on my brush. You do not need to be stingy when it comes down to your eyes. Now, once your line is in place, you want to take the other side of your brush and swipe down from the heavy line that you see right here. And you want to bring it downwards so it doesn't look like you have a milk line. When you start to add your setting powder, you'll be able to understand why you need to smooth everything out completely. Always make sure you smooth. No, you do not have to tap it out a little bit. Since we're going to be moving rather quickly, because I know you're not going to do no whole hour-long face. Neither will I today. I know you want to do a nice, beautiful, smooth set and nothing that's going to look like cakey. So this is going to be something very simple for you. Something that you can do every single day. But the eyebrows are the most important portion of your face because it sets everything off. So now we're going to clean the upper brow up. You don't need as much product as that for each side. You can go ahead and tap it out on both sides if you want to. If you can tell that I'm going in lower and lower and lower because I want to actually meet my brows. I don't want it to be too wide because my natural brows are not that wide. So I'm going in lower and lower. If you can see, it started all the way up there, and I've brought it all the way down because I want it to look natural. Then we're going to swipe up, but then we're going to come on this side. Pick up that concealer. Gotta add a little bit more towards the end. Like I said, please don't be stingy with your product. Now, the moment you got your brows all done in that manner, then you can go in and see what needs to be touched up from one side to the next, because you may have done a perfect job, but something may be off. And when in relation to like the brows that I just did on myself, something is off. So I'm gonna take this brush. I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna round myself out just a tad bit. Okay, now that I'm round, perfect round, go back in and fix that problem. A little problem just occurred. And that's pretty much it. Brows are done. Then you take your brow, your concealer buffer, and you buff it out. So remember, you go up at the top. You want to go up. And then you start pounding it out. You always make sure you always make sure you pound. Hold on. You always make sure you pound instead of swipe, because that's going to keep it looking like skin opposed to swiping like that. Go on both sides and pound it out. When you go down above your eye lift, and then you just pound it out. That gives you more of a skin-like appearance. And not like it's just products shoved in your creases. Now we're going to go underneath the brow, underneath the eyelid. Underneath your eyes. And we're just going to pound that out as well. I have this new little mold that just popped up next to my best mold. So I got to just take the excess and just pound it out, because I don't want that to be shown. That ain't my original. You can't just pop up new on my face and think I'm finna rock you. I'm not finna rock you. Then you take your concealer brush and you start to move up, down, and around. You want to make sure you're doing that motion. You use that concealer brush to keep everything looking as if it's flowing together. You don't want to have this heavy concealer here and then your brown skin there, and it doesn't have, it's a clear distinction from that color to that. No, you want to blend this all the way out to where it all looks as if it's one tone. By the time you start adding your other products, you will start to bring color back to your face. At this point, it looks as if I'm really smooth and one tone up in here, and you can tell the complete difference down there. But you want to always make sure you pound it out, for one, which is why they call it a beat. But two, you want to make sure that you get the product to move all the way around the face the way that you need it to, so that it doesn't look like it's two different colors. Kalisa, you need to be ready. Okay, kind of went into where my hairline is. Now I'm gonna go, I have a smile line right here that drives me nuts. So now I'm gonna go in with the concealer and just graze my smile line. And I'm gonna go right above my lip because I got a little stash and I don't want my mustache to keep on telling all my little secrets. Then I'm going to go in with some concealer right in this area because I want that to match from one side to the next. Plus, I don't want to look like I'm light up on the top half of my portion of my face and then like I'm dark on the lower portion of my face. I want everything to match. Also, be really careful when you're putting your brushes down because they're easy to lose. Where in the Jesus did I just put my brush? Okay, so we're going to pound this out while we're doing that. We're going to take a little bit of setting powder and you put it out. That way, the moment you get done pounding, you can go ahead and start to set because you really don't need to be doing certain steps. Once you're ready to apply your makeup, you need to be able to move quickly so that your foundation, that the concealer don't start to set back up. You can smooth it like that. But definitely you use your pounding method. This is going to keep you all one tone. Have you ever got your makeup done and you was dark down here and light up here, even if your face was really, really pretty? Got to make sure it's all one tone. I never really do my cheekbone area, my highlighted portion, because I definitely want to make sure that's distinctively set out and set aside and that's different because I don't want to hide my cheeks. Makeup is so awesome that you can make certain features of your face be eliminated simply by adding product to it. So because the eyes are extremely important and they start to product starts to fold because you're blinking, you want to go back in and pound just a little bit just to make sure the creases are not starting to set in place. You want to go above and below the eye just to make sure everything is smooth and nothing is creased. Because however you set that eye or your face, even your smile lines, if I don't make sure this is pounded out, then it will be there in my finished look. Use a very flat, light brush or even your beauty blender when you're getting ready to set your face. You more so want to smooth this. Make sure you get it everywhere. Everywhere that you let concealer touch. Especially in that smile line. Because you want that to stay smooth looking. Please go above your lid. Because you don't want whatever kind of makeup that you put up there to start to move and shift. Because it certainly will. Good morning. Not really, but I'm going to go ahead and be almost finished. You want to put the concealer right here as well. I always do the sides of my nose. And then you definitely want to go above your brow where you put the same tone at to make sure it doesn't shift. Boom. Now you set. You want to let it set a little bit so it can all be in place. Feel extremely free to do that. My time is restricted this morning, so nothing will be sitting for a very long time. Go ahead and get ready. So apply my makeup. Okay, don't have to use a lot. So today, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this off my skin. What did I do? I just went ahead and put the setting powder on top of the liquid. Really what that really did was it just made sure the liquid feels dry. And now you don't have to worry about anything moving or shifting because everything is all dried up. The powder just dried up the liquid. So now you can go on top with some more powder and start to apply your color. I'm doing a really, really quick and natural look because I don't have a lot of time on my hands today. Which is all of us. We don't really have a lot of time. We don't want to be in our face for hours. So I'm going to go in with a powder in the front of my eye and just smooth it on. I'm going to do the same thing to both lids. Everything's just going to be really smooth. When you get to this portion, you're not beating anything. You're simply sliding from center to outer perimeter. And I'm going to move on to the next color, which is going to be a really pretty, almost skin-like color to my eyes, so it just don't look so heavy. Kind of looks natural. This you can pat and then you start to rotate. Pat just a little bit. And I go in with my blending brush and I blend it out. Make sure you blend it so that it looks really natural and it don't look like it's jumping from one color to the next. Everything is about blend with makeup. You want to look like you're, natural. You don't want to look like your skin tone is jumping from one color to the next. Then I'm gonna go in again with the darkest color in this area. This will give me my eyes some dimension. Just a little bit, not too much. You see you got that little fold right here? I just went in that little crease. Just to add a little depth to it. Not too much product. Just a little bit. And that should be good enough. And there we go. We're done with that portion. Then we go in with the eyeliner. Eyelid all taken care of. We go in with the eyeliner just to make sure we have a nice coverage. Do from one eye to the next. Be real careful with your eyeliner, because if you're using one of these, if you're not careful to join inside of the line at all times, it will start to make your eyes look like you have dark spots. And you don't want to do that. You want everything to look really natural and soft. Unless you're going for a hard look, you still want it to look neat. This is something you might want to practice before you try to just do. Before you just go outside your first time applying this eyeliner, please make sure you practice it so that you don't look crazy with all these different dark shades going above your lid. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the foundation. This is not the last portion, but this is going to get you halfway there. So we're going to apply foundation. We're just swiping it on. We're going to beat it out. Make sure you do your forehead, down and around. We're going to go up, down, and around. That's all we do throughout the entire face. Then you go back through once you got all the foundation that you want on your skin. And you go back in and you beat. You pound. We're going to pound this on out. Go down in your neck, because you don't want your neck and your face to be two different tones. So make sure you come down some. Okay. We got everything in place. You need to play around with this no long time. Just make sure all the makeup is evenly distributed and that you don't have no blotch spots. As long as that's a fact, then you can move on to the next portion. The next portion for me is to replace my mold. I gotta put my mold back. Right here. My molds are my lifeline. I was born with them, so I want them to stand out. This one gets covered up because I put that heavy concealer right there. So I'll just bring it back out. If it wasn't for the fact that I've had these molds since I was a little girl and my face doesn't look normal, then I wouldn't replace them. But my face, to me, don't look normal without my molds. So now I'm going to add color back to my face because it's now all one tone. And I want a little red tone. So I'm going to add a little bit of red. It is not really red. It's just like a, well, it is kind of a fire color. This color right here. I'm going to add that to my cheek area just to give me a little color. And then I'm going to go in with the darker tone. For my contouring. We just want it to still look really natural. And just a tad bit around in this area. Just so that it just brings life back to your skin. You look alive. You don't look one tone. You don't look really white. You don't look really dark. You look multiple shades. Like all of our pretty brown skins are multiple shades. We're not just one tone. So now that I have my contour working for my big old bell pepper nose, I just take it and press it on the outer perimeter and keep my inside pink. Because, well, it appears to be pinker than everything else. Because it's just what I like. I got a big old bell pepper nose, and I don't like my big old bell pepper nose. So I kind of slim it out just a little bit. I think I can go in a little slimmer. See, just made it look a little bit more slimmer. See? Now that portion is done, I'm going to add a little blush because I like to look like I'm shining. You never know what you're going through in life. At least people never know what you're going through in life. And if you're having a rough patch and you had a moment, but you got to go out here in society and you don't want to look like you had a moment, add your look. Really? I'm not fit to fight with you. That's what I'm not going to do. Add your little rouge, a little blush. It just makes you look like you've been smiling. Ever seen people with fat cheeks and they always look like they got a smile on their face or they've been smiling? That's what blush does. It just makes you look like you've been blushing. Don't add something that's really red. I got this color. They are really soft, peach, pinkish colors. So it just really looks like I've been smiling a lot and not like I'm just really red. I don't like the really red look. This is the portion that helps you look like you having a great day even when you're not. Go in with our little brush from like the midpoint of the eye on around your cheek. And people like, ooh, girl, you just be glowing. And you like, yes, honey. Oh, because I'm happy all the time. And even if you stretching all of the truth, they'll never know that. Because you're glowing. With the help of a little Fenty. Or whatever it is you're using. I like to add a little bit on my chin. I like to just swipe my forehead. Because I just look like I'm happy. And once you're done with that, make sure you keep all your brushes and everything in a neat position because it's really easy to lose your stuff while you're working. So I make sure I keep everything really close, right? Now, this is a really important portion. The powder. I've already gone over my entire face. This portion is necessary because you need your liquid that you just went over everything with to now not feel like liquid on your face. So you get some almost same color skin a pressed powder. This is loose pressed powder. And you just rub it on the face. What does this do? It's give you a skin-like appearance, because all that liquid that you just put on your face will start to look liquidy. So you got to go back over it with something that takes away the liquid look. And brings it back soft. And brings it back like skin. And I went over everything with it. Lightly, not a whole lot, just lightly. And you'll know if you put enough on your skin, because once you go to feel your skin, it feels like skin. If it feels like it's liquidy, then you need more. My nose being my heavy or oil spot, I just tap that out some. And my little crease right here. Let it sit for a half a second while I'm putting everything else up. I can go ahead and let that powder around my nose set in place. Put everything back down. The reason why I do that is because I'm oily, and I really hate that I'm oily. And we just wipe. Take your, because you use several different powders, even though you put the eyeliner on, you want to use your mascara stick to take away the powdery look on your natural eyelash. Okay? You want your natural eyelash to be dark just like the eyeliner that you put above it. And voila. If you want a little extra oomph, you can always take your same pencil that you added your brows, that you did your brows with, go back in with your dark color, light, and add you a little eyeliner. Just make you look a little more sultry. Make you look a little bit more sultry. But remember, the key to all of this is coloring the inside of the line. So I am officially done. Lastly, I have to set my face. This. Go in and you spread out. This just ensures your face doesn't move throughout the day. That at 7 o'clock at night, you still look as good as you looked at 7 in the morning. Really important that you keep up with your all your brushes. It's easy to get thrown off. skin like. The reason why it's skin like, oh, then you might have this right here. Take your finger and smooth it out so it doesn't look like a fresh line in the middle of your face. And there we go.